everyone. Welcome to the latest installment of MSP Business School. I am Brian Doyle, and with me today, as always, are my co-hosts, Tim McNeil and Rob Rogers. And you know what, guys? I was just thinking, we had a little stretch there where one of you guys was missing every episode, so it's good to have the whole gang back together.
Yeah,
that's right. Welcome back, Timmy.
We were kind of
all over the place there for a couple months.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But anyhow, most of you are here to see our guest, not us. So with that, I'd love to welcome Joel Zaidspiner into to us today, aka JZ. Many of you may know him there. Joel, really appreciate you coming out to join us today. Thank you. And I'd love to kick things off by first understanding a little bit more about the man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up at ChannelPro.
Oh, thank you, Brian, and thank you all three of you for having me on the show today. I'm pretty excited to be here, and I love just talking to the community and talking to the channel as I do every week, somewhere, somehow, as a road warrior for ChannelPro. I'm with ChannelProNetwork.com, a ChannelPro Network magazine, IoT Playbook. It's all of our products. We have some others. Those are the main ones that we talk about regularly on a daily basis. I'm the vice president and associate publisher of all those products. I have helped grow the business for the last 14 years, starting off, when I came on board, it was 14 years ago and just this last month. So I'm pretty excited. I've been in the channel for 24 years. I started off at my competitor, at our competitor CRN that many of us know. I left there and went to ChannelPro, and I love what I do. I love how I do it. My team is amazing. If you don't work with my team, you should, because they are the best out there that I've ever seen. I'm a guy who likes to work in the channel. I started off in retail when I was younger. I believed in the channel when I was younger. I believed in communicating. I was involved in every single organization you can get your hands into, being in a retail organization. And I realized that when I came to the channel, it was basically the same thing. It was working with distribution, it was working with vendors, working with at first, learning the technology was secondary, but learning the audience was first. And the managed service providers, and back then we called them IT consultants or VARs, way back when 24 years ago, or even 10 years ago, we called them VARs. They were basically what I did. I was the retail operation for my neighborhood, and they were the same. And so it fit for me perfectly. I did all the management of all the marketing and stuff at my businesses in the past. So it was an easy fit when I came on board. I love what I do when I wake up every morning. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy getting to my desk and working. And for the last 24 years and helping the channel grow. It's all about what ChannelPro is about. We write best business practices, and that's really important for our readers. And instead of about the vendors or about things that are not important to them, we find things that are important to MSPs. We talk to them and say, what is it that you need us to write about? And we find out and we write about those things. So that's pretty much in a nutshell. I'm married. I've got 2 kids, both of them out of the house. Both of them are singers. So if you ever want to hear them sing, you can listen to them on iTunes or Spotify.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool.
They don't use their last name anywhere, so you won't find their last name. But Noah Jesse and Ali Remy are both musicians, and they both sing and produce albums and recorded. My son's at the University of Miami still, and my daughter lives in Philly. So it's a great life. My wife and I live in Palm Beach, Florida, Lake Point Beach area. And I happen to live near some of our friends that we know in the industry, like the McBains. I live like a mile away from them.
No kidding.
We never see each other at home. When we're in Florida, we never see each other. But when we're on the road, you know what? We'll see each other.
Bumping each other all the time.
You probably see them. You probably see them weekly on the road.
I was going to say, Jay's almost as much a road warrior as you were sharing. You are with us.
Yeah, I've been doing up until the pandemic, I was doing between 40 and 50 weeks a year. This year will probably be closer to 30 on the road. I'm closer to 30, I think, when I looked at the numbers. But hey, it's what we do. We've got to be out there. You got to meet all the MSPs. You got to meet all the vendors. You got to talk to everybody. You got to show them that the community is where it's out, and it's all about the growth of the community, because it's where you see, when you look at it, all the companies that are merging and buying out each other and helping grow is all about the friendship, all about the community. No. And that's where it comes from. And that's what I do. I put people together a lot of times.
So Joel, you pretty much have your finger on the pulse of this industry. It's fair to say. What are you seeing out there? What is the scuttlebutt out there with the issues, the problems that people are trying to solve, right now?
Well, first we're trying to solve world peace. That's besides.
Yes. That's a hard one right now.
Right? Our biggest problem right now. But in a day-to-day, everyone's got different issues. If you're a security house, you're trying to make everything secure. If you're an MSP house, you're trying to, manage everything with the security aspect and the storage aspect, So it depends on who you talk to. Everybody has a different pain point. Every MSP has a different pain point. Every vendor is trying to pitch you on those pain points, right? So you know that, I know that. Finding help has been one of the hardest things to do, right? Even us, we're trying to find entry-level account executives and stuff, and BDMs, and it's been unbelievably difficult. Can we find people? Yeah, but they come on and they don't want to stay because there's not enough meat to the bone, right? There's not enough. They want to be grandiose, and there's not grandiose right now. But everyone's looking for people all the time. Everywhere I talk to, every email I look at, every time I'm on LinkedIn on a daily basis, we're hiring, we're looking, jobs open. So that's one of the
probably the most common.
I
think that's the most common theme we've been hearing on every one of our podcasts for the last 6 months is we cannot find resources to fit X. It doesn't matter what position or what industry. Right. It's just tough to find good people. And I think the key to that is good people. You can find people, but are you finding people that are going to enhance your brand and obviously take things forward for you?
Well, I think that's, just enhancing on that point a little bit. One of our more recent podcasts, we talked specifically about recruiting and trying to find good salespeople. And that world has changed. Just like any industry, it's gone upside down in about 12 months, just from people working from home. People, it's harder to get salespeople into the office 5 days a week now. There's just this almost expectation with the Great Resignation, whether it's sales, tech, whatever, that they're either remote 100% of the time, or they're only going into the office a couple of days a week. And there's a lot of MSP owners out there that they're not quite ready to give up that much control yet. So that's creating chaos, just flat out. It's creating chaos during the recruiting side of things.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But what they have to think about is it no longer matters if they're in a brick and mortar. It doesn't matter. They can do their jobs from anywhere. With the way the world works, the way the internet works, we can do our jobs from anywhere. Look at us; we're all over the country, right? Doing our thing. If you're not doing a break fix job locally, then you can do managed services from anywhere. So that's something that they have to. But of course, they have to have local guy doing work. But on a larger scale, they can be anywhere. Look at the size of MSPs growing, the amount of MSPs that are growing around the country, because they're buying up little break fix shops and MSPs, and they're just putting them under their umbrella, and then they're turning them into cloud or managed service shops, and they're just managing it from one location, and it works, and it's making them lots of money.
Yes,
everywhere. You're seeing that happen everywhere. But we talked about security. Security is also a big issue with a lot of the folks. What security stack do I use? How do I use it?
Yeah.
Who's got the best? Who's got the worst? Why them over this group, over that group? Do I need this? Is it too much for my client? Is it too little for my client? Nobody even is clear about it anymore because there's so many options.
Well, there's so many options, and then you got to look at your own staff and say, what can we support and what can we outsource? And that's a big consideration these days too. I think MSPs are learning how to do more with less and more with partners, not just, vendor partners, software tool partners, but service partners behind the curtain as well. Joel, maybe you can tell us some of the content that's most resonated with your readership and viewership over the last few months. Like, what are some of the topics that ChannelPro has been covering specifically? And is there anything that you're seeing is really garnered some response? Because that probably gives us a good sense of what pain some of the folks are feeling in the industry. We've talked about it at a very high level, but is there anything drill down you can think about?
So, one of the top things that people look at to us for is content that we deliver about specific topics or specific folks. So if you go in and you look at our recent issue, great. You can go online, you can read it. It's the February issue that came out. That is a high volume read, right? A lot of people went in and read that. You're going to get a lot of content on security that a lot of our readers are looking at. If you look at those different articles, you're going to see that there's a lot of downloads. There's a lot of people reading that stuff from our sites. It's all about trends and security and protection. Those are some of the top things that people are talking about and reading on our site in a daily basis. And then, of course, partner programs and offerings from the vendors. Those are other things that are important to our readers that you can find on our site.
Well, I know when I was still in the MSP seat, I relied very heavily on ChannelPro for getting the information that I couldn't get when I wasn't yet ready to be in a peer group, right? So, if I can't be in the peer group participating, getting that information from a collective, it was great to have these trade-driven, news magazines that really could help us with the kind of how to here or how this is being positioned there. And some of your articles where you talk to the MSPs that are getting it done was almost like having that individual peer group there. Because when you hear how they were bringing some of the products and services to life and you showcase, that piece, plus it's great for the MSP to get on the cover, right? But, when those articles come out, it was huge to me because I was like, good, this guy's got a blueprint for how he's doing it and he's willing to share it right here in print.
Right. Well, that's funny you say, our covers are MSPs. Every cover is about an MSP. We don't write about vendors in our magazine about them. It's best business practices is what other MSPs have done. And it's basically, you're looking at a peer group every year when you look at the covers of our annual issues. At the end of the year, you take all the 12 issues and you go, you know what? This is an amazing peer group that we could put together and build content from, because what they have done to grow their business or build anything out is amazing for other MSPs to look at and read about. I used that one sample from, I think it was October issue recently. Last year, we had an issue with Nancy. She was on the cover. I blanked out on her last name.
Was that Nancy Sabino?
Yes, who eventually, like weeks later, was bought out. Right after being on our cover, she's taken over by another company. But things like that. You're seeing MSPs and MSPs can be on our cover. All they have to do is send us a little content about what they've done different, how they've helped other MSPs grow their business, or what they're doing differently to help other MSPs grow their business. And they can send that email to either myself or to Rich. That's in the masthead of all of our publications and all of our website. You can find our information to get a hold of us. You can shoot us an email with that, and you too can get on the cover if you warrant it. I mean, we look for MSPs that are growing their business and doing something different, and that's what's important. What advice they can help other MSPs do to grow their business, and that's what we look at.
So Joel, that's an interesting piece because when I look at a lot of MSPs, they're always like, how do I increase my visibility? How do I get out there? Where can I go? Right. And what they don't realize is news outlets like yourself, you need the content. You need the recommendation for directions. Yes, you can produce what you can produce, but it only gets enriched and better, I'm assuming, if you're getting contributions from the words of the mouth of the people at the ground floor. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're really saying is, hey, if you've got a story to tell and you just shoot a quick email, if the story's worthy or you see that it can really help the masses, you might have a good shot of getting in there no matter where you are in your growth arc.
Correct. And the other things, you have to be available, right? So when we call, excuse me, for a quote, be available or respond to our email. If one of us send an email to you and says, hey, we're looking for a quote on XYZ, why don't you follow up on that?
And it's funny too, because I think the big fear they have is the approach, right? Can I approach these guys? Am I worthy of a ChannelPro actually engaging with me? And I think people forget the media needs help too, right? The media needs to know 100%. What's happening in order to put out a good product. So that's a great point you touched on there, Joel. And, again,
we're about the people. We're about the MSP. Everything we do is about the MSP. It's not about the vendor. Yeah. So we want to make sure that those MSPs are contacting us and giving us their best story and telling us what they're doing differently to help grow the business. That's important.
Well, and I think also, Rob and I just dealing with MSPs the way we do and the way our company does and helping them build their sales teams. One thing that we're constantly trying to help our clients with is what makes them different. Yeah. Why them? If you're going into a competitive situation with 2 or 3 other MSPs, and that company and that prospect is looking for one MSP, what makes you different? So if you can walk in there, and one of your leave behinds is, hey, their prospect, check this out. I mean, that instantly gives you credibility. Yeah. It just does. Absolutely. Period.
Yeah, you can walk in with a copy of one of my magazines, which are behind me. There are dozens of them, right? You can always catch ours because it's that blue, that shade of blue, matches my car, by the way. It is a clear piece to walk into an office and say, here's who I am. And they've written about me as well. So it's a great way to get exposure. It's a great way to get brand recognition as a business in a local area too. Yeah. So, and then, it's great. And we love our readers. So, it's all about our readers for us.
Well, we believe heavily in that too. Even though all 3 of us are vendors, the whole point of our mission is to give back to the community as well that served us well when we were MSPs. This whole podcast is less about our products and more about here's the education and here's the people that can bring you more education and opportunity from the industry. It's what we do in our individual businesses, as Timmy was alluding to too. And we have certainly found the industry wants that guidance. Every MSP is on a different position of their arc, right? It's not a one size all information source fits me today kind of mentality. And some of the programs out there are kind of, you have to be here before you can be with us. And I always felt ChannelPro was a great resource for me, especially when I was early in starting, to get that information to help me be better before I could get the information from, a peer group that I was able to sink, X amount of dollars per year into. So, awesome stuff from your seat. Yeah. So what are some of the plans for ChannelPro as we move forward? I know you've got some shows that go on every month, or both virtual and in person. Maybe tell us a little bit about, what's in store for 2022.
Oh, every month basically we have a show, but starting in March we have one, and then April 6th is a virtual cybersecurity summit that anyone in the world could log on and listen to. It is a full day filled with content and information about how to build your business in the cybersecurity space. We'll help you with that information. We're going to bring on experts. We're going to bring, some of the best in the business to talk about how to help you as an MSP grow your business in that space. And then May 4th and 5th, we're going to be in Chicago. We'd love to have you sign up. You can go to events.channelpronetwork.com and sign up for any of our shows. All that information is there. As I said, May in Chicago in the Schaumburg Hyatt, outside of the airport area, about 20 minutes away. It is a fabulous location right next to the mall, some great restaurants. But we feed you, we give you lots of knowledge. There's lots of party. There's lots of information, and you're going to walk away with lots of knowledge to how to grow your business as an MSP. So, that's an awesome place to be. It's May 4th and 5th live in Chicago. But as I said, every month. And you can go to events.channelpronetwork.com, get a slew of information on all of our events. And of course, that's one of the biggest things we're doing right now, as well as, of course, our regular publication, whether it's print, digital, online content. We have that every day.
Yeah. Well, I can just speak, Joel, obviously we met you a few times last year at all the ASCII events, and there's always a group of people following you around. So
he's like a rock star.
It's whether they're following you around or you're interviewing them in the conference area. There's always people around you. And I think this is an industry that they just, generally speaking, they need help because there's so many moving parts and things change so quickly. I think it's just really important to have updated articles and updated information on what's going on, especially if you're not in a peer group, because, we talk a lot on this podcast about how people should be in peer groups. The reality is not everybody can afford it or what have you. And they still need to get that information somehow. So it's a great outlet. It's a great outlet to use that to your advantage as you're growing your MSP.
And it doesn't cost anything to get to ChannelPro. It's all free content. It's all free information. It all helps. When someone comes by my booth when I'm at a show and we offer subscriptions to everyone for free, we're like, well, what do I want to subscribe? I'm like, oh, I don't want to get junk mail. I go, well, if you think that learning to grow your business is junk mail, then, don't subscribe. But if you want to grow your business, you need to reach ChannelPro, because that's all we talk about. And you need to go to our shows and events, because that's all we ever talk about. So that's, and you do meet those people that come up to the booth and go, I have enough. When you've had enough, you should be out of the business.
Right. Time for something else.
Yeah.
Right. Change your career.
Yeah.
Right. You never have enough business in this business, because there's always another way to increase your business in the channel. There's always a layer to add on. So, growing is part of what the channel is about, and we want to see everyone growing, and that's important to ChannelPro.
Well, fellas, we're coming up to the end of the time here, together. So, first off, I'd like to thank you, Joel, for joining us here today. And for anybody that's looking to get a hold of Joel, we will be including his LinkedIn profile and a link to the podcast as well, so you can get a hold of him quickly. Also, this episode will be up on mspbusinessschool.com and anywhere you get your podcast, to include YouTube. Joel, before we break away here, sir, any closing thoughts for everybody?
I wish everybody safety out there, and peace around the world.
Yeah,
and
great message, right?
Positive thoughts for them.
Yeah.
In Ukraine, but
positive vibes.
Very, very strong positive vibes. But I also I thank you all for having ChannelPro here today, and we look forward to seeing all of you on the road, as well as everybody listening. Stop by, say hello, give me a handshake, high five. Love to see you, because I love talking to people.
Well said.
Right.
Well said.
Cool.
Oh, okay. As always, thank you very much, fellas. I wish you guys all the best, and we'll catch you on the next time.
Thank you so much, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.